Data response can be nerve-wracking. While essays provide a certain degree of predictability due to repetition in question styles, every data response question brings a different passage and different set of economic data. The fear of being unable to comprehend or interpret the context properly can really be scary. However, with a consistent and replicable strategy, you can significantly reduce the uncertainty associated with data response questions and really work on maximizing your score. In this video, I will give you 3 strategies to nail your data response questions. So if you think these kinds of videos are useful and you want to know more about IBDP business and economics related topics, click on the subscribe button below to stay updated. Now let's get started. First, always start by deciphering the questions. Questions always provide a roadmap for understanding the passage. What is commonly misunderstood about data response is that while it is an application paper, the questions and answers are still constrained by economics. Now, this is to say, if you can figure out what the question is asking for, you could essentially reverse engineer the important bits from the passage. Consider the following question. Now, even without reading paragraph 6, you can see that the question is about why inflation is occurring. You might not understand the peso weakness immediately, but consider this. Inflation can be brought about by demand pull, that is rising AD, or cost push, that is falling SRES factors. Now, this suggests that the peso's weakness must either lead to rising AD or falling SRES. Now, taking the explanation a bit further, you should realize that the peso's weakness likely suggests a depreciation, which could lead to one of the 2 outcomes: a rise in X competitiveness due to X becoming cheaper in the foreign currency, and a fall in M attractiveness due to M becoming more expensive, thereby causing a rise in X minus M and AD, or a rise in imported cost push inflation due to higher prices of imported raw materials. Thus, when you return to the passage, you will be looking for evidence of either demand pull inflation or cost push inflation occurring. Now, such an analysis helps you to narrow down the question and the potentially relevant bits of the paragraph rather than searching for a needle in a haystack. Now, this also works for the 15-mark policy question. Second, practice reading and interpreting the passage. Too many students fall into the habit of just reading the passage and highlighting half of it. Now, what does that exactly accomplish? A better practice is to learn to read and interpret the passage, where interpreting means trying to relate the concepts to key economic terminology. As an example, your passage should look something like this once you are done with it. Clearly, you might not have this much time to do a thorough analysis, but it's a great exercise when doing practices. Now, this forces you to recognize key economic content and draw links between the passage and the useful theories that you should be using in your answers. Now, combining step 1, you will have a robust blueprint with which you can use this to answer questions with good economic vigor and case references, especially for your 15-mark policy questions. Third, prioritize content from the passage and supplement with economic theories. Our final tip is about turning step 1 and step 2 into a robust answer. Remember that ultimately in data response, it is essentially to consider information from the passage. Your answer should not be purely a theoretical one. On the other hand, you should not be improvising or really inventing explanations for the points raised in the passage. Now, everything that you explain should be rooted in deep economic theory, which means ensuring that your answers are based on sound economic reasoning with a good use of diagrams, keywords and phrases is also very, very important. Also, to know how to write an effective policy answer, you can see my video, the link of which is in the description box below. So in conclusion, if you can actually know how to analyze your paper well, know your key phrases, your economic theory, it's very easy to answer a good data response questions and score well. I hope this was helpful. For more tips on how to effectively answer your IBDP economics questions, follow this playlist. This is Aneri Shah signing off.